Hello again and welcome to another Mordian Mondays. This is episode 106 and today guys I am really excited to talk to you and show off some new models from my latest bolt action project. I am really enjoying bolt action at the moment. Not gonna lie, the balance patch has got me super excited about 40k again, but right now I'm just really enjoying playing on a regular basis with my bolt action, and because of that obviously a lot of my painting and projects and all that kind of stuff have been focused around that area. And I am now finally, after being into bolt action for a fair while, getting into an allied faction. So I originally started off a couple of years ago with my Japanese, and they were a lot of fun, and it was a good sort of practice for painting some non-Games Workshop miniatures. And then obviously at Christmas time this year I got into my Germans, but now I've got two Axis factions, and now it's really good for me to be able to get into an allied faction. And I thought, you know what, let's go with the US Airborne, because whilst the US Airborne for anyone out there who plays bolt action might seem a bit of a basic faction, a bit of a, oh, it's kind of the starter faction for a lot of people. It comes in the Band of Brothers starter set and all that kind of stuff. For me, I just couldn't decide really what faction I wanted to do for my allies. So my brother recently got some Brits, and I was like, well, do I also want to get Brits? I had some Soviets, but from a long time ago, but someone else in our group actually bought those off me, and they've got the Soviets now. And then I've got one of my other friends has got regular US Army. Another guy at the club's got British Paras. Another guy's got British SAS and Commandos and all that kind of stuff. I just thought, there's actually, when I look at it, there's a lot of people that I know who've played bolt action who have got British forces, and I'm sure at some point I'll be getting myself a British army. I intend to get one of each of the major factions, to be honest, and I've got Japs and Germans, and now I've got Americans, so at some point I'll be moving on to like Soviets and British at some point. But I thought for my first allied faction, let's go for something that's a little bit different, because my brother has got his British regulars, and they're kind of cool. And Sam, who came to the bolt action event that I ran, that I'll be talking about this week, or maybe next week, but I'll talk about that soon. He's got just regular US Army. I thought, well, you know what? I know someone who's got British Airborne, but I don't know who anyone, British Powers, I should say, but I don't know anyone who hasn't just got US Airborne. And then I started thinking back about, what kind of stuff from World War II did I, films and stuff, what were the media that I used to really enjoy, and I remembered that actually my all-time favourite sort of war series, be it documentary or film or anything, is Band of Brothers. It's just really fun. And I thought, well, why not go for some US Airborne then? Go for the Screaming Eagles. Then I started looking into it, and I realised that the Airborne were present in Operation Market Garden. It wasn't just the Red Berets, but there was the Polish Airborne, and there was the American Airborne, and there was the British Airborne, obviously. And I started thinking, well, I know some people have got US Army. I know some people who have got. I know a guy at the club who I play regularly with, who's got British Paras. So wouldn't it be cool if we're able to do some Market Garden kind of situations, do like a 2v2 down at the club during the week or at home or something like that? It just started maybe thinking, like, actually doing a US Airborne force would be really cool, because it's actually having a force of sort of a mostly veteran infantry force is actually something I don't currently have for my bolt action. I've got my Germans, who are very take all comers, but really got a heavy focus on tanks. I've got a Tiger for my Germans, which I love using every game, and then I've got a Panzer IV, Panzer III. I'm going to be looking at getting like a Nebelwerfer, as in the Panzerwerfer, I should say, and so I want 2 or 3 armor cars. So I kind of realised, like, hang on, my Germans are actually definitely a sort of armoured force with some infantry support. And then I was thinking, what about my Japs? Well, my Japs are definitely an infantry force, no doubt about that. But they're very much a sort of, the Japanese play so differently to every other faction out there with the Banzai rule and all that kind of stuff, that I realised that whilst it is an infantry force, I actually use them nearly as all regulars, because I want to get those numbers for the Banzai going. And also, they don't really play like a shooting infantry force. So I thought, you know what would be, and I still use plenty of tanks and armour with them. I've got my Type 95 Hargo, which is one of the worst yet best tanks in bolt action. It's just crazy. I've got the 1987 or Type 87 armoured, not 987, the Type 87 armoured car for them. I've got a Chiha Kai Shinto. I'm looking at getting, I think it's a Ki-Nu, which has got, it's like the Hargo with the howitzer. I'm looking at getting the regular Chiha with the howitzer. So I thought, hang on, my Japs are going to have loads of tanks as well. And I never leave home without 2 bits of armor for my Japanese. So I thought, let's just get pretty much an entirely infantry-based veteran infantry force. And let's go for one, rather than just taking a really powerful faction and just saying all my infantry squads are now veteran. Why not lean into it, balance it a little bit, because veteran infantry is really powerful in bot action. That's something that I'll probably touch upon a little bit later in this video, or do another. I think I've done a video covering vet infantry spam, but yeah, what I say is I thought, why not just, rather than just picking like a powerful faction and saying, right, I'm going to try hard and take all these veteran infantry, I thought, why not just pick an army that was very legitimately, they were sort of the jewel in the crown of the US Army or they were sort of the point of pride, everyone would call them, in World War II. They get a lot of the praise the airborne do in sort of the World War II media and everything. Like, you got Saving Private Ryan, there's Rangers and airborne in that, and then you obviously got Band of Brothers and stuff like that, and obviously you got the US Marines in the Pacific. But I thought, you know what, let's just get some veteran infantry and get an army that it makes sense as veteran infantry and really lean into the power theme. So when I was picking the models, that's kind of like the decision making behind the army. I'll give you a little peek into this army. But when I started thinking about what models I wanted, I started looking at some of the Warlord American sculpts, and especially the plastic airborne, and I really got put off. I don't like the look of the US plastic airborne. I'm sorry. I think they've got really, I don't know how you describe it, like ape-like features. I know apes together strong and diamond hands and all that kind of stuff, guys, but I just think they look really like gorillas, for lack of a better term. Like, they look really, they look a bit funny, and so I really didn't like the sculpts for the US airborne. So I was like, oh, that's a bit of a shame. But then I discovered on the Warlord Games website, that they sell metal paratroopers, and these metal paratroopers are like early war paras, ones that like dropped on Sicily and Normandy, ones from like 1943 through to like 1942, 1943, 1944, that kind of thing. And I realized that these models are really, really cool. I really, really like them. Yeah, they're monopose metal models, so whatever, but you get 10 unique sculpts in each squad. You get 3 unique SMG guys, 5 unique riflemen, and an LMG sculpt. And I figured, actually, considering this is bot action, I'm only going to need like 3 or 4 squads of these guys. That's actually plenty of unique poses. 10 unique poses, that's more than enough. So I thought, let's go for it. And I have no issue with working with metal models. I love metal models. My Mordian infantry and my stormtroopers for 40k, they're all metal, basically. So I thought, yeah, let's just go for it. Let's just get a proper, get a unique army. You're not going to see many of these sculpts. You're going to see plenty of US Army sculpts out there, but you're not going to see many of these metal ones out there, because, to be honest, they are a little bit more expensive than the regular plastic ones. But you can buy a 1,000-point starter set for these guys for basically the same price, maybe a little bit more, as you can buy a 1,000-point starter set of the plastic guys. So I thought, whatever, sure, I'll go for it. So yeah, obviously you don't get as much customization, but I really, really like the sculpts of the guys. I think they look just so much better. Even though they're one-piece metal, I think they're more dynamic. I think they've got more character, a bit more charm, and they're just cool. And they're full of these crazy little details that I didn't know. So like, if you look at these Tommy gun guys that are rolling around now, you'll see the guy that's like pulling out a new magazine from his, or was about to pull out a new magazine from his webbing and put it into his, into his Tommy gun, about to reload. If you look at his arm with the Tommy gun in, he's actually got something I didn't even know about, and I learned so much from just painting these guys up. He's got like a gas detection brassard on, and that's really, really cool. And then what's even crazier, and correct me if I'm wrong here, guys, but when I went back, obviously when you start getting to your army, you start wanting to like watch films about them. I went back and was watching Saving Private Ryan on Netflix, and I noticed that they had gas detection brassards. I've seen that film 100 times. I never noticed they had those gas detection brassards on the arm, which are these like impregnated pieces of paper that change colour if the Germans use gas. So it was really like, it was super cool. And so I thought, you know, these are unique sculpts. And I found a guy that did it called Sonic Sledgehammer Studios, who's a really, really good painting tutorial on these guys. So I thought, you know what, let's just go for it. So that's why I've got these particular models. And in terms of, you know, what I've got for the army, in terms of in terms of painting them, in terms of painting them first, these are the bolt action models that I've spent the longest on. So with my Germans, I definitely went for speed painting. You know, really reduced the amount of colours I was using. I think I used like 5 or 6 or 7 colours total for my Germans. It was really scaled down. A lot of it was just one coat, not even too thin coats or anything like that. And you know, so my Germans were, I just want to get this army done as quickly as possible so I can start playing in a European theatre with my bolt action. And my Japanese were sort of half and half. The first half of my Japanese I spent a long time on, but the second half I really, you know, again I speed painted just one thin coat, that was enough. These guys I've taken some time on. I've really taken some time on. Followed the painting guide on them. I've never followed a painting guide before. I've always just painted my own way. I thought, you know what, I'll follow a painting guide and everything on them. And so, yeah, really just decided to just make these guys a labour of love, because they're going to be an all-veteran army. There's not going to be too many of them. So I'm really looking forward to it. And so far, in sort of a couple of weeks, I've managed to get 12 of them done. And I think I can, now that I'm sort of getting familiar with the paint scheme, I can get 12 blokes done a week, which is quite nice. Because they're all monopose, I can paint, you know, when I'm painting 4 guys at a time, which have all got the same sculpt, because I've got 4 squads of them, then yeah, it means you can get into that rhythm. So I've finished my 12 Thompson submachine gunners. I've got 12 guys with Garands riflemen that I'm gonna get, which I'm right now on my painting desk at the point it's recording. I've just finished doing some of the main colours on them, so I'm down to the sort of fine detail, doing the green patches on the trousers and elbows and stuff like that, and the boots and whatnot. So I'm hoping I'll have those done in time for next week's video. And then what I've got left after that is I've got another 8 riflemen, but these guys have got the carbines. Then I've got 4 light machine guns. I've got pardon me, I've got that was my chair, by the way, that wasn't a fart. So I've got my light machine gun teams, medium machine gun, anti-tank, medium anti-tank gun, light howitzer, I've got the pack howitzer, and then I've got the jeeps. I've got 2 jeeps and a little squad of pathfinders, little 4 pathfinders, and some officers. So I think overall I've got 3 teams left and 2 vehicles. And then I've probably got, that's 24 infantry painted. So I've probably got another 24 infantry after that as well. Because I've got like my bazooka team, my light mortar team and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm really just enjoying the army. So the end result, the army that I'm thinking of running, if I'm doing like a 1v1, and these guys may be like my more competitive army, because it's veteran infantry is what I'm going to be going for. I'm not going to be wasting points on big tanks or anything like that. The final army that I'm thinking of looking at is going to have 4 squads of 8 with 3 submachine gunners in each one. And then I'm going to have a pack howitzer, a bazooka team in a jeep, a light mortar, a jeep with an HMG. So then I've got 1 source of heavy anti-tank, which is my bazooka. And then I've got my howitzer, and my howitzer, which is like soft anti-tank, because I can still put pins on the top arm of any medium tank that I shoot it at. And then I've also got my HMG, which can also be good at dealing with soft armor, and I've got my light mortar, which it's got a pen value, so it can be another form of soft AT. So that's kind of where I'm going for. If I'm taking, it's either that or swap the howitzer out for a medium anti-tank, and I'll see which one works better. And then yeah, basically 4 squads of 8 and a squad of 6 and an officer. So I'll have about 12 dice in total. I've probably not described everything. I'm going to have about 12 dice in a platoon. So, and it's all veteran all the way. So it should be actually quite hardy with just enough AT to threaten people. And yeah, hopefully it'll be a good little list. So that's where we're up to. I painted the first 12 blokes, but I'm well on the way to the second 12. Then after that, I'm going to get my final 8 riflemen done. And then I will have 4 squads of 8 completely done. I'm not going to bother with the LMGs just at the moment. I feel they're quite expensive, and Americans prefer BARs over LMGs anyway in bolt action. But But yeah, that's where we're up to. So anyway, guys, I'll leave that video here. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you are working on any bolt action stuff yourself, please let me know down in the comment section. But of course, with the balance patch, I am going to assume we're all going to be really excited for our guard and going to be needing to get loads more upgrades on our guards and squads and all that kind of stuff. So I assume there's going to be loads of people that have been busy as a bee working on their 40k stuff, on their Imperial Guard stuff. Let me know down in the comment section below if you've been working on some Templars, you've been working on some action, working on some Guard, you've been working on anything else. Let me know what you're currently working on hobby-wise. Before I sign this video, I want to say a huge thank you to the Mordian Glory Patreon supporters. It's thanks to the Patrons that I've been able to get into various different new game systems. I've been trying out loads of bolt action, been absolutely loving it, and it's just thanks to the Patrons that I'm able to do that. And whilst we've had a balance patch recently which has reinvigorated the Guard community a bit, I'm sure we're all still, many of us still ticking over, waiting for our codex to come out and stuff, and also just enjoying different game systems. And so it's thanks to Patrons that I'm able to explore those different game systems and bring them back to you guys, and you guys can get a little bit interested in them as well. So huge thank you to them, and if you're interested in becoming one, there's a link down in the description below. But we'll sign off there. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and of course, I'll see you guys next time.